Today we are looking at Exodus chapter number 20, verses number 1 through verse number 3. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Our God is an awesome God. And we have to know and understand that our God is an awesome God. If you just look at creation, every day you wake up and you can look out and you can say to yourself, our God is an awesome God. Look at your own life and say, our God is an awesome God. Look at your children, all of the blessings seen and unseen, and you have enough to testify that our God is truly an awesome God. Every day, the sun generates enough power in 1 hour. Get this, 1 hour. The sun generates enough energy to power our homes for an entire year. 35,000 times the energy needed the sun generates in 1 hour. Our God is an awesome God. You know, and when it lightens, just one lightning bolt can generate 1.21 gigawatts. That's enough to send you back to the future. Our God is an awesome God. God is omniscient, he's omnipotent, and he's omnipresent. That's the first thing I want to know. He's omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. That means he's all-knowing, he's all-powerful, and he's everywhere. Everywhere. And whenever you need him, he is always where you need him. Now, it may not be where you want him, because sometimes we want God someplace, and God may not show up where you want him, but he's always where you need him to be. So the question is, are you in the place where you need to be? Because that's where you'll find God, in the needed place, not the wanted place, in the needed place. Because sometimes we go to a place where we want to be, and we want God to come over where we want him to come. God says, no, I need you to be where you need to be right now. There's some people who need to be in church right now. That's where they would find God right now. But they're trying to find him somewhere out there. God will be where you are at your greatest point of need. It's hard sometimes to experience God when everything is going well. When everybody knows your name, when life is good and things are up. But when things become difficult and challenging, that's when we find out how awesome God is. He steps in at that darkness, that midnight hour. That time when you need him most, he comes in at that point, and you recognize that he really is God. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. He said, thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. He was whatever they needed him to be. I am that I am. Whatever you need, God says, I am that. You need a comforter, he is that. You need a healer, he is that. You need a physician, he is that. You need money, he is that. You need mercy, he is that. Whatever you need, God says, I am that I am. We don't have to go so far to try to find out what God is already the provision for. Whatever you need, God says, I am that I am. That's what God wants us to know. You don't have to worry about what God's limitations are. Whatever you have a need for, God says, I knew it before you had it. I saw the end before the beginning. When your mother met your daddy, I already saw you and had your life planned out for you. I already see every need you'll ever have. I already know where your hardships are, and I will be there to meet you at your greatest need. I am that I am. Whatever your difficulty, when you go into your surgery, I am that I am. I go with you when you go into the courtroom. Wherever you go, I am that. At your greatest point of difficulty, when you don't know where you can turn to, everybody has turned their back on you, and you're saying, God, what shall I do? God says, I am that I am. He is with us, and he promises that he will never, ever leave us, and he will never forsake us. I am that I am. God is awesome. He says, be careful that when you're doing so well, that when your herds and flocks multiply, and your silver and gold are multiplied, and all that you have are multiplied. And God says, I'm in the business of blessing you. My plans for you are to prosper you beyond measure. God is able to do exceeding and abundantly beyond what we could ever ask or imagine. That's his desire for us, that you will have more than enough. That's the God that we serve. Not a just enough God, not a paycheck to paycheck God, but pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing God. That's the God that we serve, right? We serve a God that says that he will open up the windows of heaven and pour down so much blessing that you will not have room enough to receive. That's the God that we serve. That's an awesome God that we serve. But when he said to be careful that when I have blessed you and given you so much and multiplied you, that you do not forget who I am. Because it's easy to forget sometimes and believe that somehow it's our hard work. It's our effort. It's the people that we know. It's the connection that we've made that has made us rich. No, it's not that. It's just God has looked beyond you and blessed you in spite of you. It's nothing about us that makes us worthy of God's favor, but in spite of that, God blesses us beyond measure. Let's give God a round of praise, because it's not about us. It's not about us. Everything that you've got, God gave you. You may have the money. I just went and bought. God allowed you to have whatever you have. I was talking about a friend of mine in our meeting, our class earlier, who was not a very humble person, really kind of a difficult person to live with, and always had stress in her life, and nothing was ever right. No matter what you do, it can never be right. You ever have people like that in your life? No matter what you do, it's never good enough for them. You try to help them, and it's just not good enough. Something's always wrong, right? If you don't have people like that in your life, be careful that's not you. Because we might be that person. But sometimes people have a difficult time just being content. Nothing is ever right with them. Nothing is ever pleasing with them. And one day she came into my office, and it was a whole different person. She was humble and just very pleasant and calm. And I said, well, I'm used to this person that's got all this anguish. I said, what happened? She said that the doctor just diagnosed me a couple days ago with stomach cancer. And that changed everything. You see, when things are going so well, and we forget how blessed we are, it's never good enough sometimes. However good it is, you always want more. No matter how much God is blessing you, you always believe it should be a little bit better. You can never just be content and thankful and grateful to what God has already given us. But suddenly when something is taken away, we realize how simple life is and how much that God gives us day by day that we take for granted. And God is telling us, when things are going so well and you're blessed and things are multiplying in your life, beware. A person that's lost is in darkness. And whenever there's light anywhere, they're going to gravitate toward that light. And if the light of Jesus Christ is in you, truly in you, they know it. And they know that to your life, their life is completely dark. And you may not have to talk all about Jesus, may not have to try and evangelize them, but the fact that you are the light in their life would be enough to bring them closer and closer into relationship with Jesus. It's not that we got to be trying to be all theologically correct. And Pastor, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to evangelize. I don't know how to witness to people. Just be the best you that you can do. And God will do the rest. He says in those settings, I will give you the words and the wisdom. That means that when the right time comes, things will come out of you that you didn't know how you said that. That was good. You didn't know you were that good. God will give you the right words and the right wisdom to confront whatever situation there is. And he would do that because of your relationship with him. We're simply a vessel that God wants to use. That's all we are. The moon does not have its own light. The light that you see is light that's reflected from the sun. So whenever you see the moon that can't have any glory, it doesn't have any light, it's just there. And based upon how much light you see from the moon determines how close and how it is relative to the sun. When you see a full moon that's a lot of light, that means it's really positioned closer and facing the sun more. As you face God more, the light of God starts shining from you and people can see it. When you don't want to face God and you don't want to have yourself in relationship with God, they will not see the light shining from you. It's only when you become face to face with God that the world begins to see that light. And they need that light, but that light only comes from your face to face relationship with God. Let your light shine before men, that they may see that light and give glory to your Father who is in heaven.